are that of the host and callers and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of 102.5 The Bone.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, JoJo, Lisa, and JJ. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts of sports. This is one show you don't want to miss. Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
All right, looks like I wanted JoJo to say something, but I can't even. JoJo, already we're starting off with a bang. Hey, everybody, this is the Miggs and Swig show. Half of us are in LA and half of us are in Tampa, and this is we're really calling this one. If you've never listened to the show before, there's four of us on air talking, trying to compete for the same amount of time, and we keep notes and make sure that we can hear ourselves mostly. But JoJo, this is JoJo's show.
JoJo show.
Am I right, JoJo?
It is all of our show.
Joe, I can't see you though.
Oh, that's okay. It's
right.
better off that way.
All right.
Our morning started with a bang today.
I wish mine did.
So Lisa and I are in LA for her mom's birthday. It's a great birthday. I'm not allowed to say
It's
what
a
year
golden
it is.
birthday. Isn't it golden? No, 70. Isn't that golden?
Well, I guess you just said it. What year it was?
Listen, if I look as good as my mom does at 70, I'm going to tell everybody how old I am.
You tell everybody how old you are now.
Because I look younger.
She outs me every time. You know, Ben, do you mind how old you are?
Well, no, but I'm not 72 like you. So, I mean, I guess there is a truth. When, as you get into your 40s, I think like at 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, I was okay. I'm going to be 44 in a couple of months. And I feel like when I tell people that, just think about when you were 16 years old and somebody said they were 44 years old.
Yeah.
That's old. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, you're old. So I'm that guy. We're old now. So I don't have a problem, but yeah.
But you're not. It's changed.
It hasn't changed. I mean, I guess it's changed as far
It's
as...
changed for us because we're the ones getting older.
But
the
not
kids
even
still
just that,
think we're old.
the life expectancy, the longevity that you live. 44 was old because most people only lived to 50.
And we take better care of ourselves. And there is the truth
JoJo,
to
we're
it.
not in the 1920s.
I can't see you, JoJo, on that.
Oh,
that thing.
well, I
The
can't.
50s.
I know you don't want to be close to.
Well, I do. The microphone. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
use your mic if you
JoJo
want.
doesn't want to be close to me because unfortunately,
Your butt.
with all these invisible Pokemons running around, I think one crawled up my ass last night and died because my stomach is something fierce today.
Really?
So
That's
gross.
just
Yeah, it just
horrible.
blew out this whole Cox Media floor. So
Oh God.
apologize about that.
Well, so I've been really sort of contemplating.
Deep thoughts by Don Miggs.
Getting older and the whole thing, because like our kids, they just run. They're 7 and 5, and Lisa and I, we're like even yesterday they wanted to jump in the pool at a certain time. Lisa's like, oh, they can go in alone, and there's a certain thing where you're like, you want to make sure you can still do all the things you need to do with your kids, and we started later on. And Jasper, my little one.
But we were out there with them. Let me just clarify
yeah.
that. We
And
were
I did
at the
jump in
pool
the pool.
with them.
I did jump in.
They weren't outside alone.
Right, and my clothes and my jeans got all wet. Like you do what you have to do because I want the kids to have memories, and I want to be, if I can be any part of a cool dad, I'd like to be.
No. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, with my back, it's been a little frustrating over the past 2 years when I go down, and I have little ones too. So I started, I guess, normal age with Asher, but then when I got remarried, I had kids later. But when I go down, I can't go down and pick up my kid.
Right.
With my back pain right now. So it's a little. I understand what you're saying. You feel a little differently.
But here's my question, because I don't remember, but were you that sort of active, running and jumping in pools and doing things like I make a fool of myself? I always have. I'll get down and crawl under tables with kids and play.
We know you get down.
Yeah. But
and make a fool of yourself.
I could
With
see
kids.
myself. It's gross. No.
Joanne, you're great with kids.
Boys.
You are great. You're great with kids. You're better than I am with my own kids because you do get down and dirty with them.
I don't mind, and so I see myself at 60 doing the same thing with kids. You know what I mean? Because it's just always how I've
Joe,
been. So if it's not something you were around a lot, Dawn, let's say you weren't around a lot of kids to be that person that, you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? So now it's a different kind of world that you're having to adjust to.
Well, no, for me, like, and I'm the same as you. Kids have always been sort of my deal. Like, and I just love being around them. So it wasn't a problem. But the last year and a half has been the same thing. I've had the herniated disc, and it's not.
Well, you should keep putting weights on your back and doing push-ups.
No, but I'm feeling, I'm starting to feel better.
So that doesn't mean that you push it. That means that you
kid.
let yourself
So I'm having some days where I'm actually, like yesterday, I was able to get under the table. Jasper likes to literally get under the table, and you play like ship or something.
Yes.
And it's a submarine. And I was able to do it yesterday, and it felt really good to be able to actually make that happen, because some mornings, Ben, like you're getting up and you're like
every day. It's like jump starting a 76 Chevy. But you're listening to Miggs and Swig show here on 102.5 The
we're
Bone.
talking geriatrics.
We are coast to coast today with Lisa and Don over on the West Coast, and JoJo and I and the rest of the crew stuck in Tampa, Florida.
So can I just tell you the last thing that I learned is that I finally yesterday, 2 days ago, I'm with my trainer, and he said, I'm like, I still struggle when I try to brush my teeth. And he said, bend your knees. Always have soft knees, and it won't put the same strain on your back. And would you be just danged that it's been working? And I just soft knees, and all of a sudden I'm able to bend better than I was.
I bend over.
Oh, I bet
When I brush my teeth, I lean up against the sink.
Hey,
and it makes all the difference.
So should we drop any names? You guys want to just hear about what we did the other day?
Oh,
you had a very busy week.
Please tell us.
I didn't do anything.
First of all, we're in Chicago with Pearl Jam.
Oh, right.
Eddie Bedwetter, which was pretty amazing. We had a pretty amazing time. I could show you my passes from them.
They're upstairs.
It says Don Miggs #1. It's pretty crazy.
Oh my God.
But I got to tell you, here's how you know, is this a sign that I've become a different person?
Yes.
Because my wife's life has affected my life in a way where, like, regular good times maybe aren't as good, because we were in Chicago, Wrigley Field with Pearl Jam, and it wasn't the best time of my life. It was really great, but I almost felt let down, because when they were in Tampa, we were side stage, on the stage, we did sound check, and Eddie gave me a guitar and said my name on stage. So it's like, it was only sort of a letdown.
Well, I don't even know why you'd go to another show after that then.
Yeah, be done. Wrap it up. It's over.
Call it a day.
I honestly don't know if I can go
what
anymore.
Else? What else could he do? I mean, want to drop trow and start? He gave you a guitar and said your name on stage. But what else could he possibly do in your mind? The bar's been set.
But Ben, you
need to lower your expectations.
Do you just not go? That's it. I'm really.
No, you go.
Really asking.
You go and you appreciate it for what it is.
And you bring Ben like you said you would.
Oh.
Boy.
You know the Jewish Guild had to come out at some point if you were going to bring it up.
I want to publicly apologize for Ben not being in Chicago, but somebody had to be on the radio show.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, is that not good enough?
No.
What else did you do this week?
I mean, I don't want to talk about the fact that my wife and I went, and this is another thing, a sign that my whole life is very different from how I grew up. We had lunch with Bill Clinton.
On Tuesday.
That's a big name drop.
It was pretty. I wasn't expecting that to be as cool as it was.
It was very intimate. It was a very intimate.
Only 5
lunch.
of us got to actually. Was it 5?
Him.
That we actually. There were only 20 or so people there. 25.
Maybe 20.
And like 5 of us went into this hallway just to actually shake hands and take a picture with him and meet him.
Did he
The others didn't.
Did he grab anything? Did he grope a little bit, Lisa? When he went in for the hug?
No groping.
And there was a stain.
Any cigar?
Blue dresses?
There was a stain.
Oh,
I
it
hope
was on his tooth. No, sincerely. For a guy who was the president of the United States, you would think that he would have a better dentist.
Oh,
he had a little bit of a stained tooth.
Well, he's from Arkansas.
No, there's no excuse, people.
I'm surprised he has teeth. I mean,
got-
come on, he's from Arkansas. But
Take care of
you know
your
what? I
teeth.
hope he had. If
That
Hillary,
was Ben who insulted Arkansas, by the way.
No,
That
it was
not
me.
Don.
It
no,
JoJo.
she started it. I followed it. But if he becomes the president, or Hillary
Clinton.
becomes the president, and he becomes the first. What do you call it? Man, first
Yeah.
gentleman. What are we calling him?
Come up
First
with something.
gentleman.
First
I don't
gentleman.
think they've
I'm
come
going
up
to say
with
first
something.
gentleman.
He's going to be wandering. He's going to be nothing to do. He's going to be wandering the hallways of the White House again. I hope. I hope Bill Clinton has learned his lesson. We can all make mistakes, but I hope he learns his lesson. That if you're going to get caught,
Oh, no.
banging an intern,
Oh boy.
make sure
He did not have sexual relations
Like,
with
Make
that
sure
woman.
she's cute.
Make sure she's cute. Make
You're
sure
gonna
if
get
you're
cute?
listen, if listen to
If you're gonna
all
get
the
in
men
trouble.
out there, if you're gonna cheat on your wife, make sure that if you know that if you're gonna get caught, somewhere in the back of your wife's mind or your girlfriend's mind,
Don't do it with a skank.
She can justify it?
She's no, not justify. She's gonna say she's gonna take you. You take the I can't believe you cheated on me with that woman out of the equation. Right?
That's what I'm saying. She'll get it.
Because somewhere in the back of her head,
She's going, well, I could see it.
Yeah, she's hot. I can see that.
isn't
You know
it-
what I'm
isn't
saying?
it
So
more-
that's just a little,
Please
Ben
let Ben
Swig,
finish his logic,
license,
please, please.
lesson in life. If you're going to cheat on your wife, make sure your wife, when she finds out, goes, okay, she's kind of hot.
It's
That's
like
it.
it's like with that. What was that whole joke? Like I can't. When Chris Rock would say, "I'm not saying it was right, but I can see how it happened."
Right, exactly.
That's exactly
I
right.
mean, everybody in America, when we saw Monica Lewinsky, said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe he did that."
Okay,
right?
Now
but in-
she was a
but-
10 compared
Well,
to
that's what
Hillary,
I was
but-
just going to say. In comparison to
No,
his wife.
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh,
I don't think
you guys
so.
are
I don't think so.
horrible.
You don't think Monica Lewinsky was better looking than Hillary
Okay,
Clinton?
maybe she was, but if you're gonna go down, gentlemen, go down in flames.
Hey, if you're going to
Monica-
go,
go
down in
down.
flames here on the Miggs and Swig Show, you can call 800-771-1025.
Or
Am I right?
727-579-1025.
Do you know how much trouble I'm gonna get in for that last comment?
Yes, a
Well,
lot.
you know what? One
It's
thing
true. I'm not
you're-
saying I'm cheating
But
on
didn't
my.
he have an affair with another
Yes.
like blonde,
yes,
busty
yes,
sort of woman?
Then that came out during the primary. And
earlier
let me tell
in
you,
the 90s.
is, now I did have relations with.
I watched a Race the White House on CNN. Did an interesting thing, and they went through that whole campaign. If that happened today, Bill Clinton would not be our president.
Oh
so,
no, it wouldn't happen.
But not only did that affair come out, Lisa, but he was a draft dodger. He dodged the Vietnam draft.
well, once you say draft dodger, I think we all.
I
got
don't
it.
think that's necessarily a bad thing.
it might not be, but if it were today,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
there's
Right.
no chance. And with that affair,
that-
there's no chance Bill Clinton's president.
Well, correct. And that's because, and we're going to get into that, is the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media.
Exactly.
Because it works so advantageously for so many things. And then I am
Ooh.
so tired of seeing these children committing suicide because
my
they're being
God.
bullied by
By bullies.
well, yes,
There you
but
go.
by cowards who only do it behind a screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's a larger issue of how parents are raising their children to be, am I allowed to say the P word?
No.
Pussies?
Oh.
Okay. Because they
We are?
And I'm
Pussy,
and I
pussy, pussy, pussy,
Oh,
pussy.
no.
Not like that.
Now you're gonna get a butt.
I did.
like
I got it.
You just got the
Well,
butt.
when you
But-
say I could say it.
not
Sorry.
17 times in a row, but
Are
I
you-
want to
Is he a juvenile?
Yes. But I want to get into that. I also want to talk about, we've talked about your children a little bit. When is too many kids too many kids? What dictates, when do you stop? When do you tie tubes or get a vasectomy or say, okay, this is
or maybe
enough?
just stick with one woman and have the kids.
Or that. So I want to hear from everybody out there. We're gonna get to all of that here on the Miggs and Swig Show. It's 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. If you're a coward and you only want to do it behind the screen, you can go to Miggs and Swig Everything on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Here we are, listening to Miggs and Swig and JoJo and Lisa DeBartolo Miggs. We are having a humdinger of a Saturday, I've got to tell you. I mean, off the
I love a good
what? I was just
dinger.
complaining that I've been up since 3:30, Lisa and I, but I can't really complain because about an hour into that, I got up. You know what I'm saying? JoJo, what's going on with you, baby?
Oh my God, if you're just joining us, it is 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. We're going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media. But first,
Uh-oh.
There's a first?
There's a first for everything.
there is a first.
Is there?
I wanted to talk because Ben has been telling me about
Bothering you?
Well, he always does. but about swords, because Ben is a
Swords.
sword
Swords.
expert.
Yeah, somehow I became a sword.
However, you
ninja.
let your wife,
Yeah.
your better half,
yeah,
Hold
play with
jelly to your peanut butter,
play with a Ginsu knife.
and
Yeah, so we were,
What?
as you know, traveling across the country this summer, and my wife,
Wonderful.
before I left, we were at Costco, and I said, honey, we should buy a set of knives for the RV for our trip.
Cletus.
And she said no because she's a cook and she wanted to bring a really nice knife. Anyways, long story short, she was cleaning the knife, dropped it, it fell. The point of the knife fell on her right index finger, and just a tip went into her and actually cut a tendon, but it is literally a half an inch cut. And she had to go to the emergency room in South Dakota, which was not a really nice, sterile emergency room.
Yeah.
2 months later, we're still dealing with this. She had to go on 2 months of antibiotics in an IV and a PICC line that I had to get administered 3 times a day, which I have no idea how they allow somebody to do that. Right?
Somebody like you mean.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. I mean,
Well,
much
really
less me.
somebody like you
Much
is
less
good.
me. But it's not just an IV, the antibiotics. You have to push saline through. Then you got to do the antibiotics. Then you got to push saline through again. And then you have to do some blood thinner. So there's 4 different things you have to do that could,
she developed
that could
an
get
infection.
And that's the thing. And then on Monday night, after almost the night before her 2 weeks were up, she had 103 fever. And that's pretty worrisome when you're on that high dose of antibiotics,
Yeah.
right? So we had to take her to the emergency room, and luckily, thank God, she didn't have blood infection. But listen,
What was the problem though?
they don't know. I mean,
The problem was she was holding a knife
well, yeah, exactly.
where it all
and
started.
she wasn't trained in the ways of
of knifery.
of ninjas.
Of ninjas.
but
Hey Ben, before I know you've insulted your wife just a little bit in that one by saying that, but the real thing I want to just make sure everyone's aware of is you have now in 2 segments offended 2 states, so that's good. So
I
Arkansas,
actually did the first one.
Well,
no, he said they didn't have teeth.
I,
Oh,
and,
well,
and I
no.
do
and
want
then
to
South Dakota,
right,
so
and I
good.
do want to clean that up. We were in a small town in South Dakota, so it wasn't where we were by a nationally known hospital, I guess you could say. It was one of those places. What are they called? Mini clinics or?
I'm just making sure people know that I'm not insulting the states.
Right.
Though you're not the first person to insult South Dakota today, because my wife this morning, when we were talking at breakfast,
You guys actually talked about
literally-
South Dakota?
She
We did.
literally said, Jasper said, I want to travel to every state. And I said, well, let's start with South Dakota. And Lisa said, no. And Milo said, no, we're not going to South Dakota.
Well,
I'm like, what's wrong with South Dakota?
I will give a plug for South Dakota. I didn't. Their healthcare system I might have knocked a little bit, but the Badlands in South Dakota is probably one of the most amazing natural things that I've seen.
What is the Badlands? I don't know what that
I love
is.
JoJo's just looking
I'm
at
going
me.
to Google that.
So the Badlands is, I guess, Grand Canyon, maybe on a lower scale. That's mountaintops that have been eroded.
So not so Grand
through
Canyon.
ocean, but it's a different type of rock. So it's more like an orangish.
It's not the Halsey record.
Oh my God.
Explanation,
she
please.
She just made a reference to today.
Explanation,
and I think
please.
Jamie just fell asleep, and JoJo looks like she's setting
Wait,
herself
can
on
we
fire.
go back
it's
to
a
that?
national park. Okay, got it.
Can we
Got
go back
it.
to the Halsey report? What is that?
That's an artist,
It's a Halsey record.
musician. I know you're not in the music
Halsey,
business or
the
anything,
girl
but Halsey.
Halsey.
Oh, Halsey. But
It's her debut studio album.
I thought you
released
said a
in
Halsey report.
And a Springsteen album, but we're really digressing now.
Sorry.
Get anywhere near the point. So, I'm sorry, you just
So,
finished insulting your wife.
The
now
good
we're
news
worried.
is that I mean, after it's amazing to me what a less than a half an inch cut. This was June 28th. It happened,
Yeah.
and
Well,
she's
you know what
poor
a half
thing.
an inch can do. You've had 3 children.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That was so good.
Oh,
Huh.
I'll be here
so
all day.
good.
Huh.
that was funny.
I don't even know how to respond to that
don't
except
need
for
to. We're
well
just
played.
gonna get-
Except for well played, Don Miggs. Well
We're
played.
gonna get. He can say that because he's behind a screen.
But he also
Yes.
can relate because he knows what it's like. But
He can empathize.
empathize, right?
But I feel like he would say that probably to your face though, which a lot of people don't. And it's a growing epidemic. I feel that more and more people are hiding behind computers,
Trolls,
phones, social media, to say things that they would never say to somebody else's face, and it is costing people their lives because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to channel the anger. They don't know how to stand up for themselves. They don't know how to take it with a grain of salt and know that it's not them, that it's the other person that has.
And you're speaking social media.
Yes.
Because I think that really more than any of that, the biggest problem with social media is that if you go on Facebook, all you see is an animal doing some weird trick. That makes me want to hang myself.
But that doesn't bring a smile to your face when
Does
kittens
not bring
jump
a
at
smile.
cucumbers?
No.
Oh.
Kittens jump at cucumbers.
only when JoJo jumps at cucumbers do I get excited.
Me too.
But you're right, and we had a little taste of it with the circumcision story
Right.
of just posting a picture of my son getting a circumcision. And let me tell you,
well, not getting the circumcision,
yeah,
going
let's-
at the
please,
right
Ben.
at the before. Okay.
Thank you,
okay.
Joe.
Anyways, but the point
The
is
whole
like
operation.
Boy.
the good thing. I mean, let's talk about the good of social media, which is also sort of the bad, right? Because everybody has a voice. Right?
Yes.
You have a voice on social media, right, wrong, or indifferent. And the problem is that there are people out there who troll the internet for their cause, and they attack and they attack. And the Cincinnati Zoo, with that gorilla that went after the boy, that didn't really go after the boy, maybe was protecting the boy, whoever, whatever.
Yeah.
But they had to shut down their Twitter account because so many people were, trolling, beating him up. And
so yeah, and when is enough? But it's about body image and how terrible you can make somebody else feel, or it's about what somebody else has that you don't have. It's about who can throw a better party, and it's so competitive now that I don't feel like anybody ever feels worthy or validated as their life being good enough as it is.
Yeah, Don and Lisa, does it worry you at all? I mean, I know your kids aren't near the teenage years or where they might have a social media account, but does it worry you at all on what you see on social media and how kids are and these stories we hear about on social media? Or have you not even thought about it yet because your kids
No,
are...
it does. It does. I mean, it was different, obviously, when all of us were growing up because there wasn't social media, but... I think all of us were bullied in one way or another.
Or did,
Yes.
or did the bullying. Myself.
Or did the bullying. It was just more in your face and direct because people couldn't hide behind something.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I was called numerous names, made fun of all the time.
Aww.
But
well, she has that limp.
Lisa, if you were here,
People
I'd give
like
you a
that.
hug right now.
oh, thank you,
that's
Ben.
so sad.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate
You don't
that.
seem like the type of person that would be bullied. That
Third
surprised
nipple.
me,
The
actually.
third
Well, I'm
nipple
not
was
even
a
going to
problem.
tell you what the nickname was that kids used to call us.
Well, now you have
Now
to.
you have to.
And I'll tell you mine.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay, but you were raised in a different manner in which to defend yourself, whatever that case may have been taught to you. It was to stand up for yourself, whether it was to let it go, whether it was to say something back. My parents always said, let them throw the first punch, and then you do
Right.
what
Yeah.
you need to do to
Yeah.
defend yourself.
I told
And
her.
our parents weren't involved in our lives like we as parents are involved in our kids' lives now.
Correct.
I don't think so. I just would feel terrible if I found out that my kids were being bullied. I would just feel terrible. And if it was coming from somebody at their school, that would really piss me off.
But what do you tell your children if they are being bullied?
To say something.
stand up
I
for
mean, we asked
themselves.
them,
Okay.
when we picked them up from school, a lot of times last year we were doing it because school has just started this year. We would say, best thing that happened today, worst thing that happened today. Was anyone really nice to you? Was anyone mean to you? And just trying to keep the dialogue open. The thing that scares me is that I think that parents need to also remember not to be so focused on if their kid's being bullied. You also need to find out if your kid is bullying.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because
yeah,
that's part of the thing.
That's the other part of it, right, too. 727-579-1025, 1-800-771-1025, bullying stories or anything.
And social media in general, because I mean, yes, that is a side effect. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but
Consequence, maybe.
yes, of the repercussions of social media. You have the GoFundMe pages and people want to do a lot of good, and then you have people that completely abuse, I think, what the purpose of social media is supposed
or
to do.
that's where their life is. They are completely defined by how many people follow them or who likes their page, and all those sorts of things can become, that can become a real distraction and problem because you spend all of your time trying to see what has already happened and you stop having anything happen.
I agree with you. And I think that even as an adult, I am culpable of, when I post a picture and looking to see, how many likes I got or comments. And that's just, I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter to me that much, but it is something that, like, I also am amazed at if you post something socially conscious or you post something like a business you're starting, like people ignore, or if you're doing a GoFundMe page, like a bike ride or a marathon or something for charity, people just skip over that. But if you post a picture of your kids or you post a picture of, something in the news that's, a hot topic, you start these conversations.
And by the way, you just nailed why people do anything sensational is because everyone has this, not everyone, but people have this real fear of not being noticed. And so they don't care how they get noticed. It's the same reason why young girls do things that in school, or even young boys, they do things they don't want to be doing really, but they need to be noticed somehow. And it doesn't matter. Attention is attention, good or bad. And we learned that with our 7 and 5-year-old. One will push the other, and not because he's mad at him, but because he wants mommy and daddy to pay attention to him.
Yeah.
Well, I want to keep this conversation going. I've got a couple other articles that
tidbits?
Yeah, that I came across. And if you want to be part of the conversation here on the Miggs and Swig Show, it's 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. We've got more social media and cyberbullying.
They can insult us, right? On Miggs and Swig .com or anywhere Miggs and Swig social media. You can, if you want to get into
a trolling conversation.
Social media war.
Yeah, if you want to be a coward and do it behind the screen, you can totally find us Miggs and Swig everything on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We've got the Juice with JoJo coming up in the next hour. We've got more coming at you by Coastal. Lisa and Don are in Los Angeles. Ben and I are holding down the fort here in Tampa. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. The Miggs and Swig Show. I don't know why that always makes me laugh.
It really does. I got to tell you, we got to do something about adding some more.
Yeah, for all our name drops, we have.
Ben, is your thing still on there? Come on, Ben.
It's not mine.
Somebody's on.
It's not me.
That's
all right,
not
good.
Me.
Well, I was just with Jaron, and he was asking about the show, and I said, we got to get you back on. But I said, yeah, come on in 7 a.m. He was like, no, thanks. So he didn't love it that much. JoJo, tell me what we got going on here.
So many things today. We're going to get back into the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. And I'm just interested to know, I guess, how we can stop hurting people and kind of be more proactive in helping lift people back up. I think it's supposed to be a good thing, social media. It's supposed to motivate people, and you're posting pictures of your doings and the goings on in your life so that other people that may not be around you or in your life as much as they once were can see and keep up. It's a way to share information, and it's not supposed to be to hurt other people, and it's just making me sick, these 11 and 12-year-old kids who are just being pushed to where they think that there's no other alternative but to hang themselves and kill themselves. And it's devastating to their families. And there was a dad that had posted, it was like a 20-minute long video about his son who had killed himself. And I don't have children yet, so I don't know how it gets monitored and how your children are taught that there's other ways to be and to treat other children and what's right and what's wrong, and also how to stand up to bullies. So I want to hear from people, and with you guys here, you all have children, so I don't know in today's day and age how you're able to keep your kids on the right track, to be nice and to not let people get the best of them.
Well, and where is the parenting, I want to know.
Right.
You know, if somebody, if one of my kids came to me and said, so-and-so has been bullying me, you know, whatever, blah, 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 and I went to that kid's parent and I said, this is what's going on. How are you going to try and stop this? You know, how many times do you have to actually ask the parents or the school, you know, how can they not get involved more if there is something happening?
Because I don't think they're allowed. I think it's always
the school isn't allowed.
Right. I think that there's no more discipline allowed, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Nobody's allowed to reprimand your children because because then you get a call or somebody's suing a school because they grabbed them by the arm and pulled them out of the
school. Also call the parent
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, your son, whoever, has been bullying, blah blah blah, and we need you to do something about this."
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to though is first and foremost the kid has to express it and or they have to tell somebody, and I think that is the problem that we see, or I would imagine that these kids that are doing terrible things to themselves and harming themselves is because they've just swallowed it. They didn't tell anybody.
Well,
you know, and if you don't tell, I mean, growing up is hard, and I think that if everybody goes back to being a teenager or preteen, you know, you're dealing with emotions for the first time of not feeling part of or not being, you know, part of the group, and that's a hard place, and it's a way of, you know, growing, and it's part of growing up is learning how to deal with these feelings. And if you're being bullied and don't say anything about it and just keep on, you know, letting it happen, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot
it is, and I think, excuse me, especially maybe for boys who aren't told that they can express their feelings, and they're not, you know, they have to keep them pushed down a little bit. You know, for girls, I think it's a little bit easier to express our feelings because it's a little more commonplace and allowed, I guess. But for boys, I think it's harder, and it shouldn't be that way. And I think that that's one of the things that, you know, Don and I are trying to work on with the kids too, and is letting us know when something is bothering them, and that it is important to tell somebody if there's something wrong with you and not just keep it in. Because I kept things in when I was growing up. I didn't go to anybody with any problems.
Yeah, we have a friend, we all have a mutual friend who have two daughters, and they go to a pretty good school here, and one of their daughters was getting bullied, and she told her parents, and the parents went to the school, and the school, I think, did not handle it very well. And unfortunately, because she told, it made the bullying worse. And because the school didn't do anything, the parents didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden, she's now a quote-unquote rat. You know, and I think
and I think it goes back that old, like, when it's not fun for, like, if a bully comes up to you every day, steals your lunch or, you know, whatever it is, and pushes you, and the day that you turn around and you push back, the day that you turn around and you stand up for yourself, it's not fun for them anymore. So they're not going to do it. And that's what I think ultimately there's got to be a way, and I'm not saying necessarily violence, but again, once somebody lays a hand on me, then it's game on. But there's going to be a point where eventually
we just went to the ghetto here.
that you break, and you have to defend yourself to let people know that they can't do that to you.
But fear is a terrible thing, and you're frozen in that. And if someone is bullying you and you feel like more than that, like you're just scared, or you want to be able to still hang out with that crowd. A lot of that bullying happens within your own circle. You know, I remember one kid in school, he was sort of a tough guy, and he would just be, one day we were in the lunchroom, and he was like, you know, Miggs, and just shut up. Just shut up. And I just
You do talk a lot.
And I said, you know
Good
what?
for him.
And he could have kicked my ass for sure. And I was like, you know what? Don't speak to me like that. No one talks to me like that. And I was scared.
Yeah,
but
of
I
course.
felt like that was the only way for me for the people I was around to be like, wow, I guess you can't talk to him like that, you know.
If you have
but it's scary.
If you're out there and you're a parent and you have experience or story about your kids being bullied, we'd love to hear from you. 771-727-579-1025 or 1-800-771-1025 if you're too cheap and you want to call toll free.
And it's not just kids, by the way. You
No,
know, adults,
no.
in the workplace. I mean, in a previous life, I had 200 employees, and every day somebody would come in because somebody else was like intimidating them, either like in the lunchroom or someone would lose their lunch, or it would be they took my pencil, and these are grown people. You know?
And I mean, even like, and that's the thing, like, I'd like to hear from teachers, like, what are you allowed to do? How much are you allowed to reprimand a child before it becomes abuse, or you can get in trouble for it? Or I don't understand how you used to be able to take a paddle to a child in the classroom,
Right.
you know, and now you can't even grab a child by the arm and escort them out of the room if they're being, you know, disturbing.
The topic of bullying, I don't think, because I experienced it and I'm 44, and I don't think it's gone away. I don't think it's a new phenomenon.
All right, I'll stop. I will stop bullying.
Thank you,
right?
Don.
Stop.
Thank you.
Say that out
But
loud.
you know, it's been around for cliques and all that stuff that we grew up with. But it's now it's taken on a different face because it's faceless, or it's, you know, it's on social media, or it's texts.
Well, and now people don't even jump in to defend their friends. Everybody's grabbing their camera to record it and post it on the internet so that everybody can see this fight. And you'll see gobs of people standing around with phones out while some poor kid is getting beat by 5 other guys. Nobody jumps in anymore to protect. Like, I don't understand where it went wrong.
Yeah, and exactly. Ryan is on the phone, and Ryan.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
So this is the first time I listened to your show. I just happened to be driving this Saturday morning.
Sorry
and,
about
not
that.
Too shabby.
Hey, thanks.
So I have a story. My dad was a sales manager for a pool company, and he traveled a lot. And we eventually moved to Ohio.
Sorry about that.
And this is Ron. No, telling me. So Ron, this was about 9th grade. And I played football in Florida. I was very team oriented. I always believed in the underdog. We didn't have a real big problem with bullying at my school. We got along fairly well. And it was my 3rd day there, and I was sitting at the lunch table, and this kid comes up to me, and he takes a cheeseburger off my plate. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he throws it back, and he's like, you're not gonna fight me for it. I was like, don't touch my food. So I put the cheeseburger in my hoodie pocket. And about 5 minutes later, this kid comes around, takes it out of my hoodie. So I just said, all right, let's go outside. So I come outside, and I was so engulfed with rage that I was being messed with my 3rd day. Before he could even open the door, I hit him about 2 or 3 times and knocked the tooth out. Well, the resource officer came. I explained the situation. I was like, you know, it's not fair. And he's like, calm down. This kid is a huge problem for the school. We're going to charge him with petty theft of a cheeseburger. And to this day, his name is I think it's Derek Chambers. He has on his arrest record petty theft of cheeseburger.
Oh my God! and
the rest of my high school life, I was king, man. I got along great. It was absolutely phenomenal. Man.
Nobody ever touched your cheeseburger again, did they?
Never. No.
Well,
man. I don't think I ever had to pay for lunch again. It was great.
Wait, Ryan, I want to ask you this though: is he? Did you ever speak to him again after that?
No, not for a long time. But I was telling some friends about it, and they're like, wonder what he's doing right now. And he's in prison.
Flipping cheeseburgers in prison. I was just about to say that. Thanks for the call, Ryan. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you listening. Chase, you have a story about bullying.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, I wasn't the nicest guy, in high school, but it's just a quick story. Me and my buddies were all sitting at a table, at lunchtime, and this guy, who was always a really weird kid, he wore like trench coats, the kind of guy that you don't want to piss off.
Right.
Sat in my seat one day, and I pretty much told him to get the hell out of here, like get out of my seat, like you're in my way. And he turned back to look at me and said, "You're on my list."
Oh.
And that was the last time I ever bullied anybody ever. Or ever means anyone.
You made a
list.
You
know what though? That's for real. Serious. When someone does something like that and you think to yourself, there's a chance I could be killed, that'll set you straight.
Right.
Thanks for the call, Chase.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Jan, we parents, good. What do you have for us?
Hi, I just want to say that, my mother used to say, every parent knows their own child. You know if your child is bullying somebody, and you know if your child is being bullied. And unfortunately, because everybody is afraid of the legalities of it, you have to, if you can't reach the parent of the child that's bullying your child, you have to get the police involved. You have to file a police report where it takes the tension off the school, because it's just so wrong. And I'm the grandmother right now of an autistic child, and my biggest fear is the bullying. It's awful. And when I brought my own child up, if I thought in any which way, which she wasn't, if she were to bully somebody, she's going to see who's going to bully somebody, because I'll take control of it. It's just so wrong. I love your station. I love it. I love everything about it. And people need to take a stand. It's wrong. And, there's too many parents that are just in denial.
Yeah. Well,
we agree, Jan. Thank you so much for listening and for being a involved parent. I think more people need to be.
An aware parent, involved parent. I'm going to bully JoJo right now and take us to commercial. I just want to remind everybody, if you are a fantasy football player like myself, The Bone this weekend is having a fantasy football draft for all of its listeners. If you want to join, there are 2 days. Today from 4 to 6 at the Tyrone Square Buffalo Wild Wings from 4 to 6. And if you're not available tomorrow, come Sunday at Oldsmar Wild Wings off of Tampa Road. We have all of our hosts on the shows, the personalities being commissioners. I'm a commissioner. I'll be there tomorrow. We have Mo, Drew, Ben Swig, and Johnny B tomorrow. Today we have Carmen, Trevor, Grout, Dom, and many others. So if you're a fantasy football, come out. Please have fun. Drink some beer. Buffalo Wild Wings. And we'll be right back on the Miggs and Swig Show.
WHPT, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete. And now on 97.1 WSUN HD2, Holiday, Tampa, St. Pete.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show. Start the show.
And now, Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, JoJo, Lisa, and JJ. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts in sports. Time for Life Out Loud with Miggs and Swig.
Let's get the show on the road.
I don't believe that we're able to hear Don right now.
We are not able to hear Don.
We are not able to hear Don Miggs and Lisa DeBartolo Miggs, who are coming at us live from Los Angeles.
That might be a good...
There we
there
go.
you are.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
I saw your lips moving, but nothing was coming out.
It was perfect, wasn't it? For that brief second.
So lovely.
I just got to tell you, I'm still buzzing. I was just thinking again when that intro comes up and says from music to politics, and I was thinking that we just met Bill Clinton.
You did meet.
And how cool that... I got to tell you something that you don't need to name drop. You don't need to drop the thing there, Jamie. The coolest thing I was thinking about what he was saying, he said something that we were talking about bullying before the break, but also just how we were talking about how hard it is to be a kid really these days and
yes,
just to navigate your teenage years. And actually, Tiffany DeBartolo, Lisa's sister, just told us a story. She's here in L.A., and I know we were going to move off the subject, but it was sort of a really sad story. But I'm not even going to tell you what that story was, because she can tell you if you still want to talk about it when I'm done with this. But the thing that Clinton said that was crazy is that we're talking about social media being so harsh to some kids. Do you know that there still are 5 million kids in school in America that don't have access to the internet? So they can't even do the things... They can't even get general, like, you have to go Google something to be able to get to do research to get a grade, and they can't even use Google. So there are 5 million kids that don't even have access to.
So they have to old school it and go to a library.
Maybe or maybe not. If you're in a real poor community, I don't think that parent's taking you to the library either. I think you're really sort of SOL, and those sorts of fear of not being able to compete fear of not having the internet, all of those things also breeds some real sort of anger and sadness and issues with kids. And I'm sure that is part of where bullying actually comes from too. It's just, you're feeling inferior yourself, and so you lash out.
Yeah. Which is never the answer. And so people need to know that there are places to go and people to talk to if you are a bully and there's a deeper issue, or if you're being bullied. And before we get into the juice, I want to remind everybody listening that if you are out and about this afternoon from 11 to 1, 1025 The Bone and Drew Garabo will be at Rue, brunching it up.
Oh, how fancy.
I haven't been to Rue. Is it Rue good? I haven't been
I've heard it's delicious. I've not been there either.
Yeah.
Which is located at 4205 South McDill. So if you are in the area, stop by, say hi. I'm sure, got all kinds of bone swag to give out to you. And go say hi to Drew and everybody else that'll be floating around out there. Now, let's get a little juicy.
And now, talking about the juice with JoJo. Rolling down the screen, searching headlines, talking about the juice. Here's JoJo.
The world's highest paid actor by Forbes magazine. You probably looked and saw it.
Actor or actress?
Actor.
The Rock.
I know who the actress is.
You're such a jerk.
Yes, The Rock. I know.
You saw it.
No, I did know. I promise you.
Well, then you shouldn't have made a guess.
I know the actress too.
Well, is Jennifer Lawrence.
She gets a lot of money for a movie.
Yeah. He makes. Where did that just go? Where did
44 million?
No, I think he's 60-something million.
That's the juice of JoJo.
Maybe I'm confusing them.
Yeah, she's 44. He was like 67. I don't know where it.
I'm
just
confusing them. She's 44. He's 66.
66.
Yeah, it's 44, 66.
Do you watch Ballers?
Yes, I do.
I need to start it.
We watched one episode and I didn't love it. Do we have to keep watching, Ben?
If it is what it is, it's not the deepest show in the world. It's funny. If you like sports, it's sort of it's interesting. It's funny, and the NFL's having a problem with it now because they are now asking people to not go on it, athletes, because I don't think it turned out exactly the way they wanted to when they gave them the license.
What's the premise of the show?
It is a ex-athlete. Rock plays an ex-athlete who has been done with his playing career and is now transitioning into a financial manager role and trying to recruit players. And it's funny. I mean,
I just like him.
Yeah, I do too.
I follow him on social media, and he just seems like a cool dude who does a lot of good things, which is nice to see. Jackie Chan.
I'm sorry. Before you go on, I just wanted to introduce my sister Tiffany real quick.
Hi.
She's here visiting us.
A friend of the show. We love having her on.
Birthday weekend. She is visiting from Northern California.
Hi, people.
Hi. We're happy to have you.
She's a writer.
Yes.
She owns and runs her own indie record label.
With you, Swiggy.
People.
With
you're
me.
one of them. I don't know if you help or hurt.
No,
though.
I'm a liability.
That's debatable.
Yeah, I'm a liability for sure.
We all have our good days and bad days.
So she might chime in here. Go ahead about Jackie Chan.
Oh, I'm sure she'll chime in.
I'll chime in.
Just going to say, rounding out the top 5 was Jackie Chan in second, earning an estimated $61 million.
Still?
Yes.
Has he made a movie in the last decade?
He does a lot over in all of those other countries.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not so much. He hasn't done too much here in the States, but over there
He's got it easy.
Oh, he does.
Remember when he made that great movie with Chris? What's his name?
Rock.
Chris Tucker.
Oh, Chris Tucker. Yes, Tucker.
Yeah, what was the name of that movie?
I miss Chris Tucker too.
They made a couple of them. What was the name of that movie?
That one was so funny.
Jamie, come on.
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Thank you.
Who's Jamie?
Jamie's our producer, engineer, Scottish kilt wearing.
Irish, thank you.
Oh,
Irish.
How I didn't.
He wears
know
a kilt with
Irish.
nothing underneath.
Free falling, balling.
Okay, this one I found to be interesting, and there's a gentleman, Gary. He's 18 years old, and he and his wife are celebrating a life of wedded bliss.
What?
Can we have any guesses on how old his wife is? Gary is 18 and his
18.
Where are you reading this?
in my hands.
She gets it from her sources.
Okay.
Yeah, her insider sources.
So Gary's not listening. This isn't like Gary wrote in and said,
Gary's
a dedication to my wife.
No, he's up in Tennessee.
So the woman is
43.
43.
And it's his sister.
Is she an actress?
his mom.
Is she somebody famous? Is she somebody rich?
No. Just Gary is 18 and his wife is how old?
52.
She's 71.
Oh, come
what
on.
the world? She's got to have a ton of money.
They weren't looking for love when they saw each other at the funeral of her son.
Yeah, we need some photos.
Wait, so she was
Gary in tennis. What's his last name?
Gary, and her name is Almeda Hardwick. It was on you. It's from USA Today.
Oh, okay. Has anyone seen the one about the mother and son that fell in love?
Oh, we
yes.
talked about that.
You guys, a 53-year age difference.
But
how?
Oh,
wow.
I mean that river. But here's the other thing. That
They're kind of a cute couple.
Oh, come on.
You're so wrong.
How do you that riverbed is dried up? I mean, talk about making an investment in Astroglide. I mean,
my riverbed's not going to be dried up at 71.
Okay.
She met him at her son's funeral.
Yes.
She was grieving.
It was an instant connection. There was so much chemistry there. We both loved music, Gary said. I had prayed about my soulmate for like 2 years. So I was lonely.
Okay, wait. He previously dated a 77-year-old.
This is disgusting.
This is younger for him.
This is a pattern.
Wow.
He has some issues. Gary has some issues.
Wow. I don't even know what to say except for wow.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
I think he's. I don't even want to say.
We will post pictures if you haven't already Googled it or you're driving in your car. We will post pictures of that happy couple.
Happy couple.
Wow.
So there's been in the last week since the Olympics.
She looks good for her age, though.
She does.
Then the other thing, let me just add that if you're going to hear a story like that, that is a very rare story. You hear a lot of the other way
around, yeah,
right? Like older men finding 23-year-olds and 22-year-olds, but you never really. That story's different because
I want to hear Gary talk.
Okay, we'll try
That's
to.
all I have.
We'll try to get him on the radio.
Yeah, because I want to talk to Gary. I'd love to know
what the hell he's thinking.
Gary,
right now.
All of them. I just don't understand. 53-year age difference. That's so.
This is like our mom dating. See, who do we know?
Which very well could be possible with your mom.
So I have a question because I saw a couple of different articles about Olympian Usain Bolt.
Oh God, I'm so
killing it, crushing it, and
he's amazing.
He's crushing it.
Okay,
not only on the track but off the track.
Ryan?
Yes. So I want to try to understand why this is such a big deal.
Because he has a girlfriend.
Okay, but if she's not saying anything and he continues to, it has nothing to do him grinding in club. I'm trying to get there before you interrupt. Is that he's been caught out multiple times in the last couple of weeks, grinding on young women at the clubs, going out with gaggles of girls, and he has a girlfriend.
Gaggles.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? That's what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I used it right. He was photographed in bed with a young woman who wasn't his girlfriend while in Rio, and then there was footage released from earlier that night showing him celebrating his birthday by dancing sexily with different young women.
Sexily.
This isn't remotely surprising to me.
But why?
Exactly.
Okay, no, but I don't understand what that has to do. Like, now people are looking at, I don't know, I just don't get it. Looking at him in a different way, or why is this news?
Yeah, because
why?
by the way, I would say 9 out of 10 of them are all doing that.
They all do it.
Give us a break.
And you don't have to be
business.
an Olympian to do that.
But that's his personal life. So I don't know what that what that has any bearing.
Certainly doesn't mean he's not an amazing athlete.
And the other thing, obviously he does not care, right? Obviously because he's not being very safe. I mean, one of the pictures I saw was of him with selfies with the girl. He has his shirt off. They're obviously in bed. Another one's of her and him in the background sleeping. So obviously he doesn't care. I mean, he's doing nothing to protect his relationship, and he just doesn't care. And to me, good for him.
And
that's not our business.
No, and I agree, and I don't think it matters. But if it were reversed and it was a female, would she be a whore and a slut and a...
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just making sure. I thought so.
Probably, yes. I would agree with that.
Speaking
I
of
want to make a joke right now, but I can't.
Oh, are you sure?
I can't.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because you can't say the F word. You can't say.
No, it wasn't that.
Well, you can't say any names that people might know.
I came across an article
Look at Ben's face.
of how to be good in bed. Tiffany, I know you don't even need to know any of these things.
I want to know. I want to know if I'm doing everything
Correct.
I can
And
be.
I want you girls to be able to tell me these are the 6 ways to be the best sex he's ever had.
Okay.
Now,
So-
Dawn's not even listening because Tiffany has the headphones.
Okay, but
I'm going to get on in a minute. Do you need me?
Well, no, it's okay. No, it's
nope, we're
fine.
good. The first one they said is to make sure you tell him what turns you on.
Check.
Agree.
Check.
No, I agree.
Okay.
I like to hear that.
Very
Okay.
important.
My husband knows what turns me on.
Don't underestimate the power of praise.
Wait, what'd you
Would
say?
somebody please tell Don he's not on the mic?
Don, you're not on the mic.
Michael's got a mic for him right now.
Wait, what was number 2, JoJo?
Don't underestimate the power of praise.
Oh,
I totally agree.
agree.
Okay. Keep
Check.
things spontaneous.
Check.
Mm-hmm.
When
Swig,
applicable.
we're good.
Sometimes
We're
it's
3
hard.
for 3.
We're
These
3
are
for 3. These are
6
Work
ways. Okay.
7 days a week.
Think of foreplay as a long-term act. So
Ooh, I
it's
like
not
that.
just right before you're going to try and set the mood, but maybe in the morning you start with a sexy picture or a sexy text and
this
you
is
kind
great.
of
We just
build.
started
Yeah.
with sex this morning. We
No.
just went
Throughout
right
the
into
day.
it.
No, I like
Sometimes
that.
I'm sitting at work and it's 10 a.m. and I'll just look at Scott across the room.
Yes.
And I'll send him a text like, I can't wait to
Yeah.
later.
No,
That's
the anticipation is
yeah.
great. I mean, when I'm traveling or whatever, and you know, it'd be a couple days, and Nadia'll send me a text of, you know, I can't wait to get to home. You know,
Yeah.
it builds up the anticipation of the event, and then
Yeah, it's nice.
and then so the 30 seconds it usually takes me, then it's so much excitement. It's like 10 seconds and it's over.
Which is okay
10
because
seconds of
clearly
love.
you're 3 for 3
Right.
when
Hashtag
you're
Motley Crue.
trying. And I want to get into that. We do have to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk about. Okay. The other 2 were exercise and don't skimp on the D, and the D is the vitamin D, and also go from morning sex or afternoon delight to just kind of change it up. It doesn't always have
Yeah,
to be
switch it up. I think
in
it's
the
important.
evening.
We switch it up.
I think it's very important, and to
I
be
like
you know.
locations, switching up the location too, like doing it outside.
Can't hear you, honey.
You
Sorry.
can do it wherever you want. What I would like people to do is tune in after the break. We're going to talk about when is enough kids enough, because I feel like it's
0.
getting out of control, and
Well,
for some it is, and then for some it's in the powers of God's hands, and so they have 35 kids, and that just seems like excess. So we want to hear from you. 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. This is the Miggs and Swig Show on 1025 The Bone.
I can hear you.
There you go, Tiffany.
Hey, are we back? Am I in there? Am I with you?
Unfortunately, you are.
Oh, that hurts my feelings. Why would you hurt my
Oh
feelings?
boy.
Oh,
I
just
felt
kidding.
so out of most of that last conversation.
And
So
it was a good one.
if we could just start right over. No?
Now let's move on.
All right, move on. I didn't want to start over. And Tiffany's already giving
Yeah.
direction over here.
If
All right, so JoJo, what do we got going on? Welcome to the Miggs and Swig Show. We're happy you guys are all with us on a Saturday. Well, I'm excited when we see all
Were
these
you asking me
tweets,
what was going on, but then you just
Then
wanted
he
to keep
answered.
talking?
because I don't see you. I still
Perfect.
don't see you.
I'm
So-
still here. I'm
All
still
right,
here.
go, Joe. I'm quiet. Go.
I want to remind everybody listening right now that Drew and Seth and a lot of our team are out at Rue for brunch right now. It is going on from 11 to 1, and I do believe we'd have Drew on the phone.
First time caller, long time listener.
Hey, Drew Garabo.
Hi,
wow.
Drew.
Wow, you've sunk pretty
Hey.
deep calling us on a Saturday morning.
He's in the middle of his brunch. How's it going?
This is what my life has become. It's great. I can't believe how many Bone people are here. Ian Beckles just left. We've got Mike Calta, Spanish, Carmen, Nikki, Seth, SBK, a litany, if you will.
A litany.
Of Bone
Plethora.
personalities. Yes, plethora, myriad Bone personalities. I wish you guys were here.
We didn't get the invite, but
Yeah.
yeah, thanks.
Why does everybody feel like they need a personal invitation? He's been talking about it for weeks, inviting everybody to come out there.
Well, I like a personal invite. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, my God. I'm excited. Maybe I'll take a ride over after the show, Drew. You're there till 1?
We are here until at least 1 o'clock, and I'm just like you guys. I wait for personal invites to things.
Oh, my
I don't know what that is about the personality.
Hey, Drew. This is Don Miggs. Are you married?
Whoa.
You were married.
Whoa. We went from brunch to very personal all of a sudden.
Into it.
So it's like that, huh?
Just really, it's sort of married, mostly married.
Don.
Do you have a significant other?
Technically, yes. But for all intents and purposes, kind of not.
Wow, this sounds so complicated. But here's the thing that's really... I was just trying to see if there was going to be maybe a little swiping right with JoJo today because she's getting there after 1. But
oh, my
I don't
God.
know.
You're...
Well, having if it's like that, having seen the lovely JoJo, then I've never been married. I've never been attached to anyone. I'm ridiculously single and ready to mingle.
Nice.
She does throw a mingle up.
Are you Calta cruising, Drew Garabo?
I've been on a Calta cruise before. The length of this year's Calta cruise is somewhat prohibitive because I believe it is 4 weeks long. So I think I'm going to have to probably sit this one out.
Well, that is a damn shame for you.
Because JoJo will be there, and when she's on a boat, all bets are off.
Well, maybe I will reconsider or pull my dinghy up to the boat. At the gate.
She does have room.
Hashtag
She has room in her deck, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
Drew, so what's
You did
going?
say deck, right?
Yes, I did.
What's going on at the brunch? What are you guys eating, drinking mimosas, all the above?
Well, all of the above. There are $10.25 bottomless mimosas, and they seem to be imbibed rather voluminously. If I can make up a word for you guys.
Sure, that sounded good.
Spot here.
So
brew on the hill.
So the bottom is very deep, is what you're saying of those bottomless mimosas.
We speaking about JoJo still?
We also have you as a commissioner tomorrow for the Bone Fantasy League. Is that correct?
Man, there is nothing I enjoy more than showing up for free for events that other people get paid for. Yes, I will be there at the Buffalo Wild Wings on, I believe, Tampa Road in Oldsmar. Are any of you guys doing that?
I'm a commissioner as well, and I'd heard your radio show the other day about your fantasy football and talking about it. And I actually tried to call, but I was shut off and said they didn't want to talk to me. But I can't wait to go against you in fantasy football, Drew Garabo.
Well, let's powwow before the draft because I have a strategy. Our goal is to get in and out of there in a ridiculously short amount of time. So I'll give you a few tips.
That's how Ben does things, in and out in a short amount of time.
Well, Drew, I couldn't agree more, and I hope they have like a 15-second timer on draft picks because otherwise we will be there for 7 hours.
That's what this feels like, this conversation about the draft.
Ben, I guarantee you, if you talk to me before the draft, I will give you my last year's strategy, and you will be done with the dunderheads at your table in less than 45 minutes.
I love you. Wow. I love it. And if at 4 to 6 tomorrow at
Buffalo Wild Wings
on almost
nope.
Where is it?
You're there. Racetrack? Is that where you're just
Road.
Tampa Road. And today, if you want to go out, is from 4 to 6 at Tyrone Square, Buffalo Wild Wings. So, Drew, have a great day. Thank you for taking the time to call our little show here on Saturday morning.
Go see Drew at Rue, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Appreciate it. Hi, JoJo, and bye, JoJo.
Bye, honey. I'll see you later.
I think we got something there. I think
JoJo.
you're going to get a little of that Drew Garabo.
JoJo, I don't think he's listening, so can we just talk, just us girls, for a minute?
Absolutely.
What do we think of Drew?
I love Drew. I think he's a very funny, charming man.
That's not what I'm asking.
He looks like a.
Would you go on a date with him?
Would you see him naked?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know.
Of course.
I got it. Yeah, of course. He's a male, and it's been a couple days. Sure. Come on, Joe.
Days.
Joe, how long has it been since the love connection has happened?
Let's all go.
I've
around
never
and
had
say
a
when the
love
last time we
connection.
had sex was.
Let's do it.
You haven't never had a love connection, Joe?
4:30 this morning.
Oh. It was not 4:30 this morning for me. No, I've never been in love. I was in very deep like before, but I can say now I know that I've never been in love.
Oh, we got to
my
change
God,
it.
that's
Drew,
so
if
sad.
anyone's out there that wants to show the love,
I'm okay with that, by the way.
when's the last time you had relations?
I'd rather not say.
I'd rather
you would say.
This is life
Maybe
out
it was a
loud.
couple months ago. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago.
How about
I don't
just
know.
tell us, was it a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago?
A lady never kisses and tells, and since I'm not a lady, it was just a couple weeks ago.
Well, that's not bad.
Oh, really?
All right, so then,
Yeah.
Ben, when was the last time you had relations?
It has been at least 2 weeks because my wife has had a pick. We talked
sorry,
about
you
it
said a
earlier.
pick,
No,
yes,
we talked
okay.
about it earlier. She had a
pick
pick line in her heart for antibiotics. That,
So she's not allowed to have relations or get her heart
it
rate
could
up?
be a very difficult situation. It
But
could
if she's with you, she's not going to get that excited, right? So you can keep her kind of mellow? What?
yeah, I am terrible in bed.
Oh my God.
I'm terrible.
Stop it.
You know
Stop
who's
it.
not terrible in bed apparently is DMX because he likes to procreate a lot.
I saw that.
lot,
How
a
many
lot.
kids does DMX have?
Well,
the counter.
apparently we're up to 15 now.
Can you
With
please-
like
cool.
8
Come
different
on.
women, I think.
Do you
8 women.
right?
do you know what he's getting in trouble for here? Or he's being he is $1.25 million behind in his child support.
He better have another hit song then quick.
He's not going to.
Well,
that
that's
ship
what I
has
mean.
sailed. Wow, 15 kids, 8 mothers. Let me ask you, when you're the 8th mother, do you think to yourself, this might not be the best idea I've ever had? Because you're not getting anything
you
out
should
of him.
think that.
He's not going to take care of
9
his
women, I'm
kids.
sorry.
Oh,
9
okay.
women.
I'm sorry. We were breaking news. We were wrong. It's 9
Just like
women.
this is his quote, just like a dog, I sniff that ASS, I wag my tail.
I mean, that's just a disgusting
That's
thing
who
to
I wanna
say.
keep
Terrible. That is
Stop.
really terrible.
Drop. Shut him down. Open up shop. Isn't that DMX?
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm a
That's
rough
a rough
rider.
rider.
Whoa. Is that DMX?
I don't know.
If it isn't, it's certainly not you guys.
Rude. I thought we sounded
But
really good.
It does bring up a question. I mean, so they're not only in the rapping world or the athletic world, because there's Antonio Cromartie, who plays for your favorite, Don, the New York Jets. He has, 12 kids with 8
Oh
women.
my God!
There are
Why
12
can't you
kids,
just read?
I'm
For
reading.
God's sake!
Because here's the thing:
Oh
he's
my
got 12
God,
kids
me too.
with 8 different women, and his child support is $3,500 a month per kid, $360,000 a year he pays in child support.
He better
Who
keep
is this
playing.
you're talking about?
Antonio Cromartie.
Oh.
He better keep playing
That's
that game.
very, very, very
Now
irresponsible.
you think that's bad, right? You think those two are bad?
Oh yeah, tell him what we saw.
Let me tell you about Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan is rumored to at least have 1,000 kids and possibly as many as 2,000. And and here's genetic analysis has shown his ancestry is 0.5% of the world's population today.
Wow.
Genghis Khan had between 1,000 and 2,000 kids.
How?
That's pretty remarkable, actually.
By
He
doing
just
a lot,
every night-
having a lot of sex.
Yeah, you know what? Will
I don't know that I
Chamberlain-
believe that.
JoJo, Will Chamberlain supposedly had just a ton of sex.
Yeah, what, 10,000
basketball
times?
player.
Was that his?
And if you think about that, and if you just would have been a little more irresponsible and a little more egotistical, he would have gotten several more of them pregnant.
Yes, it just is so crazy.
For Lisa, it was the only one on the radio now who's birthed a woman who's birthed a child. Could you imagine having 69 kids, Lisa?
No.
Well,
no.
Is that how
She
is that
imagines
even possible?
69.
That's not possible.
No,
Mr.
69, yes. Not 69 kids. I don't know how that's possible.
You
Miss-
can't have kids up until age 70.
Well, Miss and Mrs. and Mr. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Vassilvev.
Them.
They had 27 births, 6 sets of twins, and 2 sets of triplets.
16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets
is
of
that
quadruplets
possible?
between 17, 25, and she had 27 births.
No, that's ridiculous.
Honestly,
2 births was a lot.
There's something wrong. Like, there really is a mental sort of issue there. By the way, you listen to the Miggs and Swig show. We do have Tiffany DeBartolo, the writer of How to Kill a Rock Star and God-Shaped Hole.
Oh, amazing.
If you've read either of those books, she would be happy to take over the airwaves, I'm sure.
You are so much better at introducing her than I am.
Well,
like, I got my sister here. She's down from the
and she
North
also
Bay.
did. If you were a Jennifer Aniston fan, she did Dream for an Insomniac, the movie, which I think is still being good to her.
Yeah.
Right, which is a good thing.
Occasionally.
Tiffany,
I think.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 furry 4-legged kids.
Which were trouble coming out.
And 1 on the way.
Yay.
Yes.
Wow.
So she's going to have 3 kids.
That's breaking news, but I think Jamie wants us to go to a break here. Miggs and Swig Show, 800-771-1025. When we get back, I think there's going to be a lot more stuff. I don't know what any of it is because JoJo really was the one directing it and didn't send me a sheet that said what we were doing. But you are listening to Miggs and Swig Show.
Called her out.
Back after these words. You are listening to The Bone, and you got Miggs and Swig's show, and I think this is our last segment, so happy Saturday, the whatever day, August 27th, right? Wow, this year is going really quick. Our kids are already back in school. This has been a crazy summer.
Kim Kardashian's a blonde again.
Oh, and that's, breaking news. More important than any of this.
Kim Kardashian is now back to blonde.
How does her hair not fall out?
There's no way it doesn't fall out.
All right, let's give this a minute. The two sisters are going to just go through this a minute. So
I'm sure JoJo's interested in this as well.
We have
Kim's
writer,
hair?
Yeah.
No, I don't care
blonde.
about her.
Why is she back to blonde?
Can I just say, can I introduce who's here? So we have Tiffany DeBartolo with us. She's a writer of a couple of books, How to Kill a Rock Star and God-Shaped Hole. She is a record executive, and with Ben works with that label as well. And they have, the Wombats is probably the more popular band a lot of you would know.
Called Bright Antenna. Check us out, brightantenna.com.
You guys have to pay for that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But,
if anyone, can I say something?
Yes,
if anyone listening could guess where we got our name, Bright Antenna, call in and claim it, and you will get a free Bright Antenna sweatshirt.
Wow.
Ooh. Wow. That's a big
Usually
deal.
reserved only for artists and people who have slept with artists.
Someone will know that.
There you go. Well, we'll see if someone does. And it's 800-771-1025. You call in and say if you know where the name Bright Antenna comes from.
It's a song.
I bet you Drew
Garabo
probably could have known that.
I bet you who's going to know it, Jamie.
He is a knowledge music library.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But during the break, we're still talking a little bit about DMX, the rapper who has how many kids?
15.
15 kids with 9 different women. And I was thinking to myself, besides how twisted he must be and these women to keep going to him, what the effect of that is on these kids who have all these relatives and brothers and sisters, and they don't get to meet them, or they don't get to form some sort of relationship with them. And why that seems troubling to me is we can't see where we are right here. Lisa, myself, and Tiffany are in LA, and we're in a room, and I'm standing back where the sisters are like hovered over a computer looking and talking about stuff, or they just were. And it just made me think, like, how do you not have those relationships? Like, if you have sisters or if you have brothers, how sad it is that you have someone like DMX who has these kids and he doesn't give them the gift of, like, being brothers and sisters.
Well, he also isn't giving them the gift of having a father, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how involved can you possibly be in 15 children's lives when they live all over the country?
Right.
And he wasn't even there for the last birth. He was performing in Phoenix.
He's also spent a little bit of time in jail, but that's a whole other topic.
What did he go to jail for?
What did he go to jail for? JoJo should know that.
No, I don't know that.
I thought you knew
I believe
everything.
it was
most everything
drug related, but
yeah, I think it was either.
But it's not just rappers and athletes. I mean, I went to a Catholic school, and there's a lot of people that don't believe in birth control and contraception, and so we had a family. I think they had 15 kids. I mean, and that was all from the same mother and father.
Is this in Ohio where we grew up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have a friend that has 11 or 12, right?
I mean, that's a lot of
Lydia.
kids.
Yeah, yes, but yeah, 11. I think she comes.
Especially nowadays. I think back in the day, maybe. I mean, a lot of my friends came from 3 and 4 children families. You know, we all kind of had one the same age as each one of us in my family.
Right.
But I don't know. I just feel
People are
like
smarter now.
Yeah,
it's irresponsible, JoJo. The world. We have enough trouble with resources now. And I think I was talking about this a few weeks ago when we were still a Sunday show. There was a book I just finished reading called Freedom. What's the name of the writer?
Jonathan Franzen.
Thank you. And the whole thing, there's a big part of it is sort of about overpopulation. And it's irresponsible, I think, at some point.
Environmentally irresponsible, for sure.
And I don't want to insult people out there who have big broods. And I get it. If you and your wife or you and your husband just love kids and you're it's working out for you, that's great. But they've all got to somehow go to school, get the same amount of attention and love, and I just don't know how you do that.
Water,
I mean,
and air.
Yeah, and forget about the resources, which is important. But I have 3 kids. Lisa and Dawn have 2, and I can't imagine what it's like to have any more than that. I mean,
3 would kill me.
I mean,
imagine 3 more adding that.
And you touched on that, Dawn, by saying the attention. I mean, it's like I'm already spread so thin with 3, and I can't imagine what it'd be like to have 6 or 7 kids growing up. Now, I grew up in a family that had 4. JoJo did too.
Yes.
You guys, Tiffany,
3. We both had 3.
And I think it's great. We all grew up together. We were 2 years apart, and there was that, family and friendship later on in life.
But Ben, did you guys fight for like your parents' attention? Because like I came down this morning. I go up and I do my poop, come down.
Do my poop.
And I come into the kitchen and immediately Milo's like, Dad, sit here. And then Jasper's like, Dad, sit over here. And they want your attention. It's JoJo has her hand up. I don't know if she's smelling her underarm.
No. I mean, they smell fine. But I was just waiting for you so I could talk.
All right. Well, I want you to talk more than I want to talk.
Yeah. We're going to get to the callers in just one second. But I think because it's so different now, we went outside and we played and we entertained ourselves and we were able to experience life. I think because children now are so consumed with phones and iPads and a lot of parents, they're in the house, so they're vying for attention from their mother and father. They're not out and making friends with neighbor kids because they really can't go outside and play like we used to.
Right.
And
without supervision.
And we're going to get back. We're going to put this conversation on hold because we did have a contest and Tiffany asked the callers to guess where our record label Bright Antenna came from. Neil, what's your guess?
Is it from the Spirit of Radio?
Yes,
they got it.
You win.
Winner. Neil.
Congratulations. Neil, you're cool.
Well done. And hold on the line. We'll get your information. We will send you out the world famous Bright Antenna hoodie.
Make sure you get his size and his address.
But we will do that, Tiffany. Thank you.
Those are Rush. That is a Rush song.
It is a Rush song. Absolutely. Well done.
It's a song about musical integrity, which is why it's so applicable to our label.
And so to get back to the kids' comment, we have a caller. Steve wants to comment on Rough Rider DMX.
Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What you got?
So, just playing devil's advocate, though, the average guy hooks up with a woman in a bar, with an average woman. She doesn't get pregnant every single time she has unprotected sex.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But there are guys out there who have significantly more swimmers and women who have significantly more susceptibility to pregnancy. And, it sounds to me like it's probably, not just a case that he's getting it a lot because he's famous, but he's probably potent.
Yeah. He's got some swimmers.
Yeah, I think yes and no, because you can be potent and still understand that you can be potent and pull. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't.
No, no doubt. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's probably getting someone pregnant every time he does have unprotected sex.
Right.
You and I, it's going to be 1 in 10.
But after maybe 6 or 7, wouldn't you realize and come to the understanding that there are no ovaries on the back or the stomach?
Oh my God.
Seriously.
Really, at some point, for
Or
me,
the throat.
for me, we were talking before. We were talking. And thank you for your call. But we were talking before the air, and I've had 3 kids, and we've tried the 3 times we tried, and actually wanted to have a kid. I'm 3 for 3 the first month, the first try. So I understand that I'm.
I'm surprised he doesn't have more kids.
Yeah.
That have come out of the woodwork.
Good point.
It
Yes.
maybe does.
And I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he does. But that he
Well,
doesn't
there
know
is.
about.
You remember Eazy-E, the rapper from
Yes.
NWA. Thanks you. He had a bunch of kids, but then after he died, there were a bunch more that came forward with DNA testing that were actually his kids. So what else we got?
Nothing.
Everybody else guessed.
They can't guess. We got a winner.
We got a winner.
All right, good. Well, then that's the end of that.
That's
all right, good. All right, we just end early. I mean, we just call it a day. So, JoJo, let me ask you this: what do you got? So, you're going to go over this Drew Garabo thing? Let's get into this.
Oh my God, we don't need to. No.
Rehash that.
Are you going or not, Joe?
I don't know. I'm actually meeting some friends out later, and we're going to go to LBC in Palm Harbor to see Pitbull Toddler amongst the bands that will be playing this evening.
And Pitbull Toddler is what?
Is Mike Calta, is Galvin, is John Brennan, is Josh, is Pete.
JoJo, what will you be
It's all
doing
my
there?
boyfriends.
Just hanging out?
I'll be having a couple beverages. I'll be dancing.
All right.
And then who knows where that will lead me for the rest of the night.
Are you giving away anything from the Miggs and Swig show? I'm just so people can come
herself.
up to you
I almost said my mouth, but then I thought maybe my mom was listening. She probably is.
Yep.
What am I going to give? What do you want me to give away?
I'm just asking what maybe
Your mother's cringing right now, by the way.
Is there anything, Joe? I'm really just trying to help the show move along.
Yeah.
Help your popularity.
I have prizes that if people go out to LBC tonight, I'll give you a prize.
I'll tell you this, JoJo is fun to be out with. She's a great dancer.
Thank you.
She's a great sort of talker, loves to have fun, and good kisser. So she'll be a blast. Now Ben's not going, right? Because he sort of is a downer, and we all agree on that.
Ben is not able to join. He doesn't have his headphones on.
He doesn't have his license.
He didn't hear you.
He can't drive.
We are. We just need to get Neil. If you are listening, he was the winner of the Bright Antenna song. We forgot to get his size, so please call the.
Just send an extra
she did
large.
Say, get the size.
Hey, you know what? It didn't happen. And please go easy on Roland. Very nice guy.
Come on, Roland.
Roland,
are you a professional or not?
Roland.
I can't believe this is the last week in August.
Good talk, Roland.
I know, JoJo. And my mother is 70 tomorrow.
I know.
She wants everybody to hear that.
She's amazing and fabulous at 70.
She is.
And
I'll tell you this. I want to just. I think that the older you get, the more, like we were talking earlier when Ben, we were saying, I can't believe we're getting older. Like, oh, you're in your 40s, all that. I got to tell you now,
I still can't believe it's not butter.
It's something switched where I'm just grateful for every day.
Me too.
I really feel like, I think I said this again a few weeks ago. Someone said to me, oh, you're getting older. And I said, may you live to be the age I am right now. Like, because every day you never know what's going to happen. So
something happens to you after you turn 40. You get so much smarter about that.
Yeah, and then your back starts hurting. And
yeah, that's, but it doesn't have to be that way.
I just need to send a quick apology to my mother. She's listening.
Hi, Flea. And your daughter is trying very hard to get the bone on the bone.
You know what? JoJo, I really hope you find the love of your life because you deserve it. You're a good woman.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. I'm gonna have fun trying though.
All right,
Someone
we're gonna
would be lucky to have you. And thank you for having me, you guys.
Thanks for being
so
here,
Tiff.
Tiff.
DeBartolo joined during the show. This is JoJo's last time with us because the mother's going to probably kick her off and tell her she's not allowed to do the show anymore. Jamie, thank you. Roland, thank you.
Thank you.
Come join me tomorrow from 4 to 6, Bone Fantasy Football League in
Tampa Road at the Buffalo Wild Wings.
From 4 to 6.
And join JoJo tonight at somewhere.
LBC Palm Harbor. I'll be out there for sure.
And you can join Lisa and I on a hike in about 10 minutes. We're going to be in the backwoods here. Really roughing it. All right. Hey, everybody. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And see you next week, Miggs and Swig Show.